What's good, friends? Welcome into Fantasy Focus Football, presented by Wingstop, alongside Field Yates and Mike Clay. My name is Daniel Dopp, here to be able to deliver all the things that you need to know. Thank you very much for coming back, Mike.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Why were you not here yesterday? We talked about
He
this.
told us why. So Mike, actually, when he gets a haircut, it's not just a haircut, it's a spa day.
Oh, God, it's a spa day.
He has a spa day.
Treat yourself.
But does that really feel necessary every 2 weeks during the football season?
I don't go every 2 weeks. I mean, if you saw me on the show 2 days ago, it looks like I hadn't had a haircut for a couple months. So.
Wow, you were a shaggy dog.
Yeah,
Listen, you are barking up the wrong
down.
tree as far as telling people they look like a shaggy dog because Daniel hasn't cut his hair in 5 years.
Literally.
And I went
Fair
like
point.
almost, 7 months without cutting my hair. And I was...
True.
I think you should try it, Mike. You know why?
Grow it out?
Because the only thing I can tell you from personal experience is that there was not one person, not a single soul who said anything mean about my hair on the internet one time.
Oh, wow. No
Nothing.
way.
Yep.
Every comment was like, Field, I absolutely love your hair. And by the way, would you like $10 million? I'll send it to you in the mail. Or like, hey, Field, I love your hair. And can I buy you a jet that you can use for private aviation going forward?
That's weird that he has muted all of my burners.
That's amazing, right?
How does he see none of the negative comments?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Impressive. Good work. Getting
Potential
that muted.
spams call me right now. Should we pick it up on the
Oh,
show
no.
and say,
Spam
hey,
likely. That's the worst.
Hey.
Never answer.
that's me.
yeah.
Very excited to be able to do a show today. Obviously, we didn't have you here yesterday, Mike, so we're excited to be able to dive into a bunch of good stuff today. Normally, we do the Shadow Report on Thursdays. Instead, we shifted it to Friday, so you're still going to get a bunch of good stuff from us here as well. Part 2 of our Week 14 preview, plus a Thursday Night Football recap and some starts of the week fun at the end of the show.
Define
But first and foremost, two things
for
really
me.
quickly. Yeah, it'll be quick for you. It'll be a little bit longer for Field and I.
Fun for me.
Oh,
Fun
okay.
for me,
Yes.
fun for the audience.
Yes.
Not fun for you guys.
Not fun for us. I don't know. I might have a good time with it. But shout out to our friends over at Trophy Smack. Head over to TrophySmack.com. Use the promo code FOCUS10 for 10% off your order. Grab a belt, grab a turnover chain, grab a toilet seat, whatever you want from Trophy Smack. They got a bunch of good stuff over there. TrophySmack.com. And our buddy Eric Moody, hanging out in chat like he always does. Follow him on social media at Eric and Moody. And jump into the YouTube chat. Ask him all of the questions because he has all of the answers.
Like it.
All right. With that being said, we're going to talk about a Thursday night football game, my friends.
Do you want to just take 8 minutes and brag about your Lions?
Lions responded in a major way. One guy in particular, but there were a lot of things for me to be able to take away from this game. Super pumped if you've got Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he obviously clearly the most explosive and unbelievable player on this Detroit team. Man, if you had Jahmyr and you start out on a Thursday night game with 37 fantasy points.
Dude, he had 6.1 points on the first drive. He had 14 fantasy points in the first quarter. He finishes with 37. He actually didn't run the ball.
He didn't run well.
Yeah,
No.
the Cowboys' run defense is legit fixed. This Quinnen Williams trade has paid major dividends.
He's good at ball. Yeah.
Gibbs goes off for 37 last night, but I think kind of every Lion held serve for you last night. I would argue at least. So let's talk about the big storyline going into the game was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Play or not play? He plays.
Yeah.
What a dog Amon-Ra St. Brown is.
9 targets.
9 targets.
Like a hair under 92% of the snaps.
That's
He was
great.
a full go.
So 6 catches, 92 yards, 15.2 fantasy points. If you were out of the country like Mike yesterday and had no idea that he was iffy to play and you just kept him in your lineup because he's Amon-Ra and you got 15.2 fantasy points, you're like, yeah, okay, sweet.
That's great.
Like, not amazing, but still 15 fantasy points is not something you complain about. So for our purposes, like if you started them, you were justified in doing so. Jamison Williams was also not hurt by Amon-Ra's return. So he had 7 catches, 77 yards. Was 96?
96.
Excuse me.
Yes,
Sorry.
sir.
It was
Gibbs
Jahmyr
at
Gibbs who had 7 for
77.
77. So J-Mo gets you 17 plus fantasy points as well. Jared Goff, what was it, only 17 fantasy points? I used that stat yesterday on the show, about 23.8 or more fantasy points for 9 of the 12 quarterbacks facing the Cowboys this year. He throws for 300-plus yards. He just got a little bit unlucky in the touchdown department last night.
Yeah, but
By a little bit unlucky, you mean there were 4 rushing touchdowns?
Yes.
Then yes.
I'll do it. Montgomery in the end zone as well. And by the way, if you did not check your lineup, maybe you were busy at dinner or whatever leading up to the game, and you did not know Amon-Ra was going to play, and you had Isaac Tesla in your lineup, at least he scored a touchdown. He got you 10 points, so it could have been worse.
Also,
could have,
if for some reason you were like, you know what, last week I had to start David Montgomery in a week in which I didn't want to, but I don't have anyone else, David Montgomery had probably one of his better games of the season, found the end zone. That touchdown run that he had, looked like last year David Montgomery. Like that was a very cool, angry run on that side. Honestly, it was really Jared Goff was probably the most disappointing Detroit Lion across the board.
16.16 fantasy points for Goff.
Well too.
Yeah, I thought he played really
300 passing yards. It's just when you have 4 rushing touchdowns, you don't need to do as much with your arms.
So my big takeaway of the night, though, was actually on the other side.
Yes. Agreed.
And it was, and I understand we're not in the playoffs yet, at least in 99% of leagues. But if you have something on the line this week, or you're looking to clinch a playoff spot, fight for a playoff spot, fight for that number 1 seed, first round bye, whatever it might be, one of the workhorses of your team this year has been George Pickens. Just an unbelievable value. And he was in a good spot last night.
Yes.
The Lions secondary came into this game banged up, and the Cowboys were cooking them for much of last night. Pickens manages 5 catches on 9 targets for 37 yards. This felt like Pittsburgh Steelers, George Pickens.
Thank you so much for saying that, because that's exactly what I thought. It looked like he gave up on a couple of routes. Like he was not fully interested.
Herbie was talking about it during the broadcast. You know, he was sort of like, let's keep our eyes on the route here.
Yeah.
You know, and after the game, Richard Sherman teed off on him, and he had some thoughts on Pickens' overall game last night. So it was not great from Pickens last night. He's been so good all year. I am taking nothing away from his season, but at this point, we are still evaluating every single week and what you get. It wasn't great last.
Yeah, and he might be running out of games because, as you saw in the broadcast, they reminded us about 47 times that the Cowboys' odds of making the playoffs are now 9%. And that could change, obviously, if the Eagles lose to the Chargers on Monday and other things that could happen. But
they'll play out the string.
Yeah, I know, but he's running out of games. Like my point is, he has it's a contract here for him. Like he wants to get paid. You can't have games like this. One of your last final games here. So that was definitely disappointing.
Recency bias exists.
I will say this though, in a dud game for him, he still had 9 targets and 8.7 fantasy points. Like that's the absolute floor you're getting from Pickens.
Right.
He'll remain in lineups next week.
Okay, so I agree with what you just said. That's a factual statement.
Yeah,
I think in week 14, people are over like, I know it wasn't a great result, but the process was sound and you got a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, you're
right?
gonna have that. That's the game we play, though.
No, I think at this point of the year, you're allowed to be mad at 8.7 fantasy points.
It's totally fair. Yeah, that's reasonable. I think the other receiver slot is maybe the biggest takeaway moving forward because CeeDee Lamb, of course, suffering that concussion. He had a good game before he left.
A great game.
He had
a great game.
An unbelievable game.
Yeah,
he played 2.5 quarters and had 6 catches for 121 yards.
Sure did. He was awesome. But obviously he could be in doubt for week 15 with the fantasy playoffs starting. He will have an extra 3 days to recover. Hopefully he's good to go. But if not, Ryan Flournoy, 13 targets. That led all players in this game.
Ridiculous.
9 catches, $115 and a touchdown. It's a guy we're going to have to keep an eye on the waiver wire next week if CeeDee Lamb is in doubt because it's a good spot. And he's quietly been, solid. Like he's earned his way to that 3 job. Jalen Tolbert's been a healthy scratch. He's passed out Turpin. They like him. And I actually made a joke and texted with you guys about his heavy involvement early in this game, even when CeeDee Lamb was out there as well. So no doubt about it, he's going to be a priority add next week in the event that Lamb doesn't play.
I think that fantasy managers are absolutely allowed to be Flournoyed at the situation because George Pickens, if you said to me that CeeDee Lamb was going to get hurt halfway through the game, and then there was going to be another wide receiver that was going to score 20-some fantasy points after CeeDee Lamb got hurt against the Detroit Lions secondary, we all would have signed up and said George Pickens obviously is the guy. I think the one weird takeaway that I have is I know we got a lot of fantasy points, but I'm kind of weirdly disappointed that in a game in where we had 74 actual points scored, none by the defense, none by special teams, the 3 players we had that scored more than 20 fantasy points were Jahmyr Gibbs, Ryan Flournoy, and Brandon Aubrey. It wasn't the superstars that we wanted in week 14 other than Jahmyr Gibbs. So when you get 74 points scored in a game, it's holy cow, this is a barrage of points. But it just didn't always end up with the guys that we want. No one had bad games you said.
So that's the counter is that you may not have gotten 7 different 20+ point fantasy
But if you didn't watch the game and you saw the final score was 44-30.
The only dud though really was Pickens. And to a degree Dak, but even Ferguson
still had 18.5.
Yeah, Dak threw 2 picks. I mean, both the quarterbacks combined. Again, this is kind of interesting. I wonder how many times this has happened in league history, actually, certainly in the modern era. That many points scored, and the quarterbacks combined for 2 passing
touchdowns. Yeah.
And no rushing
night for the rushing touchdown.
Jake Bates also had 15 fantasy points. So if you started either one of these kickers, they both
by the way, Aubrey, is ridiculous. Like,
it's absurd.
Like, he barely even kicks the ball.
I
He's
know.
just like, oh, this is a little chip shot. And he
this-
kicks it 60-some yards.
he does this thing. So, like, right before he kicks, he always holds his collar.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I went and tried that last night.
He gets extra leverage. on
Yeah,
the
like
kick or
I
something.
was outside kicking snowballs, and I grabbed my collar, and I was
does
like,
it feel?
I kicked a snowball 100 yards last
You would
night.
think someone
Insane.
that could kick it that far, so like he would have to effort more. And the
Yes.
effort's less than any kicker in the league. It seems like.
Real
What a
question, and I know that
ridiculous-
like I have a serious like. Okay, so right now the highest paid kicker I believe is at like $6 million per year.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's Aubrey getting?
more. I mean,
obviously,
like,
yeah.
It's
9.
Yeah, kicker is. I remember when they changed the rules, thinking about this. Like, kicker is going to, for a variety of reasons, be a position you pay more to. It's more valuable because the longer extra points. Obviously, you could kick field goals from further away now. And kickoffs, obviously, being able to position them the right way. Now with the new rules is important as well. So kickers are more valuable than ever before.
I think you're on it, Daniel. I think it's $9 million a year.
Yeah. Do you think have we ever seen a kicker in a potential contract standoff like we might see between Jerry Jones and Brandon Aubrey?
I mean, didn't the Chiefs have that with Harrison Butker a few years
Oh,
ago?
yeah, I
Am
think you're
making
right.
that up, or did I?
No, I feel like there was a back and forth there a little bit about. I mean, when you are clearly one of the, if not the best, and a
I might be
weapon,
making that up. I just remember.
just a weapon at the kicking position. He kicked 3 55-plus yard field goals. First time ever in NFL history that's happened in a single game last
They made
night.
it look
He's-
easy.
His leg is unreal.
Yeah, there was the 42-yarder he kicked, and it barely went inside the upright. It was good, but I was like, that doesn't count.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
for him, if
Yeah.
it's not right down the pipes, I'm like, no, doesn't count.
He's the reason we need to just like make decimal scoring for kickers, like the length of field goal
we do.
more, because then he would have added value. Like in normal standard scoring,
Yeah.
he's not worth reaching on because he's still like, remember we talked like Spencer Schrader was outscoring him
Right,
earlier
right.
this year, and he's been hot the last few weeks, but he just isn't worth it because of how kicker scoring is across the industry. So if we get to that decimal point where you get 5.5 points for a 55-yarder, then he might have a little added value.
Yes,
It might be
I
worth
have
reaching
made
a little.
that the standard in every league that I have the authority to do so, and we voted on that, and it's now in the war room. And Jeff Darlington got 25.6 points from Aubrey last night.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was disappointing most of the year, probably even in that format too. He just wasn't getting enough
I mean-
opportunities. Kicker's such a high variance position.
Just as
Anyway.
expected, Ryan Flournoy and Brandon Aubrey, the
Yeah.
2 highest scoring
We're
Cowboys
talking about
after Thursday night
12
football
minutes
game.
into the show. That's
Dude,
what
I'm
we're talking
telling
about.
you,
All
we
right.
need CD back next week because he was cooking last night.
Yes, he
CD
was.
looked ridiculous.
That's because as we often do when we play
You
this
played
game
him?
of fantasy,
yeah.
the day I trade him away.
Oh, that's what it is.
Of course.
That's what it is.
No, I have him in a couple of leagues, so I need him to, including our dynasty league.
Yes.
But actually, I traded him. I have a dynasty team super quick where I have 3 Cowboys as part of my core lineup, and that's too much because if they have one dud in the playoffs, like basically I need all 3 of those guys, Javonte Williams, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, to be good all 3 weeks of the playoffs to win the championship, right? They have to, and the odds of that happening are pretty slim. One bad game and I'm out. So
You also traded him for Puka Nacua.
exactly right. I
It's
traded
like,
him. Sigmund Bloom, our friend at Football
Yeah.
Guys, longtime friend of mine in the industry, straight up Puka for CeeDee Lamb. So I felt like, maybe a little edge to Lamb and Dynasty, maybe, but I felt like it was well worth it for.
Those guys will just trade greatness.
Yeah,
Exactly
agreed.
right.
It's
Yeah,
like
exactly right.
when
And I
you
got
have
2
these-
years younger. I think I kind of had to do something like that.
All right. Let's keep rolling.
Let's dive into our Week 14 matchups, Part 2. Field and I did Part 1 yesterday by ourselves when Mike was off on vacation again, so go check that out in case you want to listen to the rest of that.
Did
To
you
be
watch it
clear,
on
I was
vacation
not
or
on
no?
vacation.
Oh, okay. Not
did-
on vacation.
Yeah, I
The
was
opposite
not.
of vacation.
I was the opposite of vacation.
Wednesdays are the vacation days. Thursday was an actual appointment
Monday and
day.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
I'm here Wednesday. But I did watch the beginning of the show, and then while I was waiting where I was, and then late in the show, I watched our Raheem Sanders.
Oh,
I was
great.
curious who you guys picked.
Yeah.
for that
Yes.
one, so
Yes.
that was good. That was
Yeah.
good content.
I appreciate
Actually,
you
you
didn't
didn't get one
Jameer
last
Gibbs,
night.
so,
I know.
Ross
I was
Dwelly.
hoping for Ross
No,
Dwelly.
like
When we
that.
scored 44 points, I said it was going to take a village. It's just that we threw
He
touchdowns
actually
to
didn't
other
play a
people.
lot. Anthony Ferkser, old friend,
Yeah.
was the lead
From?
tight end there.
Harvard.
Harvard.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Harvard.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Although Ross Dwelly did have a red zone target. I mean,
He
we
did
were
early on.
close-ish. So,
was
anyways,
for you.
all right. We got a bunch of things we're going to
Yeah,
bring to
let's
the
dive in.
table.
Let's
We're going
do
to
it.
dive in. Field, I'm going to start, I believe. Yes, I'm going to start with you
Okay,
today.
let's do it. And let's go back down to the same conversation we had 2 weeks ago, and we didn't quite have the stones to actually pull the trigger on this. Start him or sit him? Patrick Mahomes
Yep.
against the Houston Texans.
Let's starting him. But I'm nervous.
Okay. All right. So I think we probably all land in the same conclusion.
Yeah.
But a couple of notes here for you guys. Not one quarterback has reached 20 fantasy points against the Texans in a single game this season. The Texans are allowing by far the fewest fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. The average is 11.6. How about this? Daniel Jones last week was the first quarterback since week 2 to not turn the ball over against Houston. Wow. So weeks 3 to week 12, every quarterback turned the ball over at least once. As a matter of fact, I think all but one quarterback, I think it was Baker all the way back in week 2, has fumbled or thrown an interception. He just got fumble luck, and it was scooped up by one of his own teammates. Like Stafford was strip sacked in week 1, and Daniel Jones did fumble last week, but it was recovered by a teammate. And Patrick Mahomes, as we know, he's been excellent for much of this season, but cooled down a little bit over the past 4 games, excluding Thanksgiving. He was amazing on Thanksgiving in the great matchup against the Cowboys. Prior to that, he had 3 straight games in which he had 18.1 or fewer fantasy points. That included a 14.3 point game against Denver and an 11.6 point game against the Buffalo Bills. So while Mahomes is amazing and it's a really difficult plank to walk, I've got him as quarterback 9. I am 4 spots lower than Daniel and 5 spots lower than Mike.
Yeah, I think the problem I ran into with Mahomes, like putting him lower, is the competition for that spot where
We were talking about this yesterday with Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Burrow. Bo Nix. You can make a case for Bo Nix. Jaden Daniels. Now we have him back in there, so he's full in practice. I assume he'll go. It's hard to justify him in his first game back.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones. We're all these names.
No, not all those names. The injury.
Jordan Love. He's been like in good spots. He's let us down. You have Caleb Williams going into Green Bay. That's tough. Lamar Jackson. We picked him apart this week and his problems. Justin Herbert injured. Trevor Lawrence playing the Colts. I mean, you can pick all these guys apart. There's a lot of tough assignments this week for these guys.
What I meant by the Joe Burrow thing was like one of my topics was like, how confident are you in Joe Burrow? And I expressed some reasons for skepticism, and I still have him as like quarterback 5.
But that's why, though, because all these guys have that situation this week. There's just a lot of guys in that tier of kind of tough matchup this week.
And Drake May is on a bye this week. You guys familiar with Drake May Lover on Twitter?
I am not.
I'm not with that, but we talk about it because Megan loves Drake May.
Drake May,
It's
we talk
amazing.
About this all the time.
It's like an unbelievable account that has become like folklore now in New England.
Yeah.
And it's somebody from Massachusetts. It's cool to see. I mean, Drake May has taken over that town as well, and Drake May and Drake May Lover has also become a gigantic thing in Boston.
Yeah, he's so smooth. He's like just a watch play. Like I'm so pumped to see him against good teams. Like in the playoffs, it's going to be awesome. So
They got a couple
feel
big
uncomfortable
games
the fact
coming
that your girlfriend really loves Drake May and you still want him to play well?
I mean, she liked Bailey Zappi too. So I mean,
okay, all right. She's got
She's loyal to the soil.
That's right. That's what it is.
All right, next one, Mike. What do you got? So I'm at quarterback 9 for Patrick Mahomes. Still probably starting him, but of course, it's a huge test on Sunday night.
That means coming into the week, you had him outside your top 10 because you probably had Dak and Jared Goff ahead of him.
It was right. It was right.
You had him at 11. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right
Borderline
there.
I'm at 4 now, so I had him at 6 actually.
Correct.
Initially because
it's a tough one. It's a tough matchup. This Texans defense is no joke. Now,
no joke.
Could we get the Chiefs given the same effort the Lions gave last night? Backs against the wall, season in some ways on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
maybe we do. The Chiefs have been much better at home as well.
I think Kamari Lassiter in doubt for this too, which could help a little bit. Help the Chiefs receivers get open.
What do you got?
All right, first topic for me is we're going to do a little bit of a sit-start run-through of some tight ends here because we've done this before, and there's a lot of guys kind of on the fringes. So let's run through them. We'll start with a guy that's trending down right now, fellas, and Oronde Gadsden.
Sit.
Oh. You're saying sit here. Okay. You know what he's doing right now, guys?
Nothing.
Not much.
Wrote this in the playbook. He's doing his best Quentin Johnston impression.
Yes.
Wow.
It's kind of unreal how similar it is. His first 4 games were very good, and then his last few games have been duds. He's on that same trajectory. Weeks 6 through 9, 5+ catches, 68+ yards in 4 games, averaging 17.9 fantasy points per game. He was awesome. Last 3 games, a total of 6 catches, 81 yards, and 14 fantasy points. And the Eagles have been dominant against tight ends. No tight end has reached 14 against them this season. So I agree. I'm at 13.
Yeah.
Before Thursday night, guys.
Before Thursday.
Agree on sit for him. Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
Quietly very solid this season.
Mm-hmm.
Target share has been massive. He has 8+ targets in 5 of his last 7. His 59 catches this year in 12 games matches his total in 19 games, including the playoffs last year. So he has been really solid. The only thing is he only has 1 touchdown. If he was scoring a normal number of touchdowns.
That was Jake Ferguson impression from last year.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So
thank you.
That's a good call. Well, that was a good, nice one.
Pretty rare, so I'll take it.
Schultz is just that guy, though. He keeps getting all these targets, and then you're like, eventually it's going to dip, right? Kate Stover comes back. They get a healthier receiver. It just has not happened. So I haven't missed a start against the Chiefs this week.
I agree.
I would agree with that.
Next one, guys. Harold Fannin Jr.
Oh,
The clear, let me be clear, the clear number 1 tight end for the Browns. David Njoku is not playing nearly as often. Seems like his time's running out. We thought that about Mark Andrews too.
he's still got kind of a lot of years on his contract left, doesn't he?
I think Njoku either has 1 or 0, but
really?
Njoku has made it very clear he wants to be a Brown going.
He may want to, but all right, fair enough. We'll let that play. We'll talk about that in the offseason. But yeah, he's out snapping him 98-53 over the last 2 games. Leads the Browns with 11 targets during that span, just 2 for David Njoku. He has a target share of at least 20%. 20% itself is a good number for a tight
end for sure.
At least 20% in 7 consecutive games.
Wow.
Now, so he has been busy in this offense. Did score a touchdown last week. The only thing I'll say is the Titans have allowed 2 tight ends to hit 12 fantasy points this entire season so far. So kind of quietly a tough matchup for Fannin. I have him at 10, right on the fence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would lean toward starting.
I agree.
A limited upside in this offense.
I think that's where I'm at too. He's not not a high
George
ceiling, but a decent floor, you would think.
Yeah, totally fair. And then the last one, which I understand is going to lead right into Daniel's first point, is Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
And the reason he's a good topic is it's easy to say, all right, this guy's coming off he's been out a month. He's limited in practice. We'll see if he goes in this one. It seems a little on the optimistic side, but if he goes, he's playing the Bengals.
Yeah, baby.
So even if he's limited, and remember, this is a guy that sometimes will play 40% of the snaps, 35% of the snaps, but he's out there at the goal line. He's out there when they're throwing the football.
Yeah.
And he was, scored a bunch of touchdowns earlier this season. But again, the Bengals have allowed the most targets, catches, yards, touchdowns, and fantasy points to tight ends. Their tight ends averaging 22.9 fantasy points per game against them. Their last 2 opponents, the Patriots and Ravens, their tight ends combined for 10 catches and 150 plus yards in each game.
That's
So
great.
they just the point there being it just continues no matter who they're facing. Tight ends dominate. So I think if Kincaid's active, he's a start for sure. If he's out, I'd have a harder time trusting Dawson Knox because he just hasn't done it at all. He's just been pretty much not uninvolved. But there's still a decent chance he'll score a touchdown.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he'll be a streamer if you're in a tough spot. But I say Kincaid to start. If he's
I
active.
think so too. And you've seen a lot of volatility. The last 4 games that Dalton Kincaid has, if you look at the box score, it's like, can I really start this guy in week 14? Last 4 games, he had 1 for 28, 6 for 108, 1 for 23, and then 6 for 101 and a touchdown. So 2 games with 1 catch under 30 yards, 2 games with 6 catches over 100 yards.
Which one are you betting on this week?
Against the Bengals? That's the thing. I would bet on the bigger game against the Bengals.
My question was, did it go 1 catch, 6 catch, 1 catch, 6 catch?
Yes.
Okay, so we're due for a 1 catch game is what you're saying?
I hear what you're saying, Field, but I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Yep.
And there's a part of me, Mike kind of alluded to this. I know this is Mike's segment, but I would love it if everyone wouldn't mind just being able to check out this.
Check out this.
Hey man, check out this.
Hey yo, check out this. Check out this.
It's time to check out this.
so good.
Yeah, that was a fun one every time. So here's the thing. We did a stat a couple years ago when we were talking about Travis Kelce.
Okay.
The gap between Travis Kelce and tight end 2 was as big as like the gap between tight end 2 and tight end 17. Remember how we had talked about that?
Yeah.
All right. Bengals defense against tight ends this year. They are the 32nd ranked defense. Mike, you already said this. They've allowed the most fantasy points to tight end position, 275 this year. We got a full screen if you look at it. The number 2 defense this year is 208 points allowed. That gap from 1 to 2 is the same. Sorry, gap from 32 to 31 is the same as the gap from defense 31 to defense 9 against tight ends.
Wow.
Just to show you how bad, there's literally 20 other teams in the same gap that there is just between the number 1 and number 2 defenses that allow the most points to the tight end position this year. The Cincinnati Bengals against tight ends are like historically bad.
How about this? How many points? Trey McBride is by far the top scoring tight end in fantasy this year, right? How many fantasy points has he scored this year?
Trey McBride. So he's at like 18.6 a game, 18.6 times 12.
Very good, 18.7.
Hold on. Let me do this math here. Let's see, 10 times 18.6, 186, 18.6 times 2 would be 37.2. 224.7 fantasy points.
Wow, very close. 223.9.
Wow.
Nice job. That was well done.
That was pretty good. That was not
So
bad.
anyway, 224 points, we'll round it, is way less than 275.
75.
So the tight end against the Bengals is by far at the top, way better than Trey McBride.
Better than Trey McBride.
Compared to any tight end against the Bengals. That shows you just how. I mean, this is one of them things that's like, this is beyond atrocious.
Dude, and I said it yesterday because I was shocked by this stat. Unfortunately, our producer, Tyler, is a huge Bengals fan. So, Tyler, apologies whenever we have to do this. But they have been so bad against the running backs and tight ends that against wide receivers, they've allowed the 6th fewest fantasy
Part
points.
Of that's DJ Turner. They just don't throw at him. Yeah.
And they just take advantage of that, like a defense or everywhere else in the field.
Almost did it again last.
Crazy.
And teams clearly do it. You watch the game and you're like, they're coming out and they're just throwing the ball to the tight end.
All that to say,
teams know.
I am fully on board with what you are saying, Mike, even though we have not seen Dalton Kincaid in a couple of weeks and there has been some like back and forth in his game. This matchup is just way too good to pass up. If I have Kincaid, he's a top 7 tight end for me this week.
Okay, my next topic is Jacoby Myers. Is he now a lineup block?
Ooh.
That might be a little bit strong. I know where Mike is going to say because over the past 3 games, Jacoby Myers has exactly 6 targets in each of them. So not crazy volume.
Yeah, but what do you do in those 6 games?
He's been awesome in those 3 games. He has a touchdown in back-to-back games as well. He's playing 80+% of the snaps.
Yep.
Numbers actually even closer to 90 now for Jacoby Myers. Clearly the Jaguars wide receiver that Trevor Lawrence trusts the most, right? Like independent of how we feel about it.
Yes.
Like there is a chemistry that took about 5 minutes to establish between Trevor Lawrence and Jacoby Myers. So lineup block might be a little too strong, but he is creeping up into that territory. I think he is at least a flex in week 14 against the Colts.
That's fair. I'm at 27 now after removing the players from last night. So it's close, but I also have him hand in hand with Brian Thomas because I think we agree Thomas after what he did Myers has never had the ceiling of what we saw from Thomas last year. So he still that needs to be considered. Last week was Thomas's first game back. In theory, you would expect him to be better. Yeah. Yes.
I have a question. Does the NFL have a rule that permits when a team is on a bye to loan players to other teams during the bye?
They do not have that.
Oh, that would be great.
I was wondering if Mac Jones got sent to Jacksonville for the week, and that's something I didn't realize.
I know.
The answer is no.
We should do that.
Hey, you're not wrong. But at the same time, Thomas is really good at ball. So, I know it's been a rough year.
This year, yeah.
But he's still involved. And it's not just that. I mean, Parker Washington also full in practice. He missed most of last week, which was a factor. He'll be involved. And Brenton Strange is now back, and he's a part of this offense. There's a lot of mouths to feed, we'll say, in an offense that, there's playing the Colts this week. There's a good defense. So, I'm a little more hesitant, but I want to see what happens this week. I think this will be a key week to see how he's utilized.
It's been so interesting with this Jaguars squad because we've been trying to talk ourselves for a little bit into Parker Washington as a thing because we came into the season thinking that Brian Thomas Jr. was going to be awesome. Then we thought Travis Hunter was going to be good. And if it wasn't one of those two, they did pay real money to Diami Brown to be their wide receiver 3, who also hasn't done anything. And then they were so bad not so bad. They got banged up, Travis Hunter. The other two have been so bad, they went out, and we've been trying to figure out, can we play Parker Washington or now Jacoby Myers, who was traded to this team halfway through. So it's been a really interesting situation for Liam Cohen and this Jaguars team this year. It makes me wonder if BTJ is going to be one of those guys like, give me a rookie wide receiver that was awesome like Justin Blackmon. I mean, I realized there were situations as to why he wasn't good, but who was really good his first year and then like didn't materialize for the rest of their career? Because I'm waiting to see
not
a
a
guy
wide receiver, but like
name.
Kyle Pitts is kind of in that category.
in that category. I just wonder with BTJ as a part of it. We're talking obviously about Jacoby Myers here, but
good for the Jaguars, by the way, for being 8-4, tied for the best record in the AFC South, because I would argue that some of their big bets of the offseason, personnel-wise, haven't really paid off, right? I mean, like the Travis Hunter trade, he's missed a lot of time and wasn't this transformative player during his rookie season. Diami Brown for $10 million. Like they've definitely did some, Robert Hainsey among some of the, and Patrick McCarry, guys who have stabilized that offensive line, but great coaching this year down in Jacksonville as
they've
well.
Just been a solid, quiet, solid team. Yeah.
One guy that has helped solidify is Jacoby Myers, as you mentioned. We got a question about him in our YouTube chat. Fantasy Manager wants to know, should I start Jacoby Myers or Chris Godwin if he rolls this week in the flex?
I'm more confident in Myers. Godwin's definitely trending up. He looked the best by the eye test last week. 3 catches for 78 yards. I lean towards Myers, even in what could be a better matchup for Godwin.
I have Godwin 2 spots ahead, but it is a toss-up. I mean, you can go either direction. I'd be fine going with Myers against the Colts, but I think Godwin's trending up. The playing time doubled last week, and he's getting injected more into this offense.
Yep.
What's your next question or point?
Next one for me is another wide receiver, guys. Guy trending the wrong direction in Zay Flowers. Panic or patience on Mr. Flowers. Well, speaking of which, got
A little bit of panic. Hey!
This was a coincidence, but Brandon Flowers, of course, the lead
Yes,
singer.
lead singer of the.
My favorite band,
knows that.
Killers.
Hold on.
Clearly, Field knew that too.
I'm here for band
Whoa, whoa,
t-shirts.
whoa,
Yes,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
yes,
Band
that's Mike's
knowledge.
role.
Whoa,
That's
whoa.
what I do on this show.
Brandon Flowers was a cornerback for
He
the
sure
Chiefs.
was.
He was.
Chiefs, yep.
Also, a really good
And
songwriter.
I knew Brandon. I was there with the Chiefs. I was there
Oh,
with the Chiefs when he
okay.
was there too. He never talked about his music career.
Yeah, that's him. Same guy.
No way.
There's only one of each name in the whole world. So
It's
He's
true.
more versatile than. Wait, you're the special teams coordinator for the Eagles
Yes.
as well?
Yes.
does.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was funny. He actually wrote Mr. Brightside about Travis Kelce because he was just so good. He was the shining bright spot on this Chiefs squad.
Yeah.
Brandon Flowers was a great player back in the
He
day.
was. He was awesome. But anyway,
Do you know anyone else from that band?
No.
Okay. All right. All right.
I know what they look like,
Carry
but
on.
I couldn't give you
I
a
actually
name.
did know that Brandon Flowers was the lead singer of the Killers. because of
I believe you.
this thing
I believe
previously.
that.
They will be in Santa
Killers?
Clara this year when the Super Bowl is going on. So if we're out that way, perhaps
Uh-oh.
you can check out. Check
If you
out
said
Brandon
if we're out that way, you mean Lions fans or do you mean who are you talking about?
I mean, us as a
Oh, as a show
collective.
unit. Got it. Okay. Got it.
Yes.
Understand. Got it.
Or that. Maybe that. I don't know. Last year the Eagles were there. Who knows? Let's talk about Zay Flowers, fellas. 6 yards and 7 targets last week. I know he had that touchdown. 6 or 7? No. 6 yards. on
7 targets.
He had that long touchdown on. There was OPI that was borderline. It could have been a different story.
It wasn't
but
borderline.
It wasn't.
It
It was
wasn't
not
borderline.
OPI.
It wasn't OPI. Let's just
it
was
call
not.
it. Let's just
Yeah.
it just wasn't.
All right, fair enough. But he now has 0 touchdowns since week 2, and that's not a fluke. He has 1 end zone target this entire season, which is tough. He has a huge target share, 27.6%, which has given him a pretty good floor, actually, in fantasy. He has 11 plus fantasy points in 9 of 12 games, but his ceiling is just so low. Like, this just continues with Zay Flowers. The low touchdowns, it's a low-volume passing game. Lamar's missed time. He's been under 12.5 fantasy points in 5 straight and 7 of his last 8. So it's like you're getting 11 or 12 points almost every game from Zay Flowers this season. He's 10th in catches, and they're playing a team, by the way, the Steelers, that have allowed the most catches and yards, as well as the second most fantasy points to receivers. So panic or patience this week? How you attacking Zay Flowers?
Oh,
don't
I'm
know.
panicking.
I don't know.
You can't. I don't feel like I got a couple of squads in our dynasty league. I've got.
We've got 0 Zay Flowers.
All right, I got 2 leagues that I have, and I'm both with you.
Yep.
I got 2 leagues with Zay Flowers, and I feel like with the way that Lamar Jackson has been playing, I already feel like when I start Zay Flowers, it's a little bit of a boomer bust option every time that I do it. It just feels more busty at this point.
It is lately, but again, his floor has been really, really good. 11 plus
Yeah.
fantasy points and 9 of 12. I'm just moving forward.
No, that's good. I appreciate
The
that.
thing is, like, I hear where you guys are both at. I think it's actually like a little simpler than this. Is that this is just like who he is,
Yeah,
right? This is like these must be the players that drive Mike's projections the most insane, right? It's him, Quentin Johnston. I would argue DK Metcalf is very much in this category. He was even during his days
don't
in
know.
Seattle.
AJ Brown.
Honestly, Flowers he's probably been very close to his projection most weeks. Again, he's been in that 11 to 13 range in almost every game this season.
The point is just like you don't really know when the terrible games are coming, and you don't really know when the great games are coming.
Yeah, he
because
doesn't-
he started off hot.
He had one big game this year. It was week 1.
Yeah, week 1, he had like 9 for 146, and we're like, wow, maybe this is it's every offseason.
You're right.
We hear
And
from the Ravens. Route trees expanded. He's the focal point of the offense. We don't want to put the ball on the ground as much. We want to be a more spread out offense. I'm making up some of this jargon, but things along those lines.
Yeah,
then here we go. We landed the exact same spot.
Yeah, it's what Hollywood Brown used to be. I mean, he's like a little bit better Hollywood Brown. It's very similar to how his production was.
The frustrating
this
part
offense.
is just that the Ravens run the ball so much and so well, and that even when they pass the ball, it just doesn't feel like he is a priority target.
I mean, his
like
target share is huge.
I know.
It's not him. It's just a scheme.
Correct. So I was looking at this with the Ravens. The next highest target share guy is Mark Andrews at like 17%. And then the next guy after that is Rashad Bateman at 12%. Yeah. So like they literally, it is really funneled toward like Zay Flowers. It just doesn't feel, because they're such a low volume passing offense, that he doesn't feel like a priority wide receiver one, even though he's got a freaking MVP who can sling it just as good as almost any other quarterback in the league.
If he had this
I think it's inherent to the offense.
Exactly right. If he had this target share in Dallas, he'd be fourth in fantasy
crushing.
points.
Yes.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
By the way, do you guys remember when the Ravens extended Rashad Bateman for the second time in 12 months this offseason
do.
for $36 million?
Yeah, that was
that's
a
just not a
decision.
necessary position for that team. I don't know what they just don't need that spot.
That
if
Mark
he's in or
Andrews
out, it doesn't
contract?
move the needle at all. Like
Big
Vegas
Mark
isn't moving the
Andrews
line.
deal? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you need a guy like Andrews, I feel like, a goal line option, and you need Zay Flower. You need a one that you can go to.
Yeah, because you don't have a goal line option right now with Derrick Henry at the back. That's why I get it.
You have to have somebody to throw to, but the second receiver position is just not important in that offense.
Yeah.
What's your next
You're not
one,
wrong.
Daniel?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I'm looking at another boom bust wide receiver. Mike's talking about one, except it's a little guy. I'm going to talk about one, but he's a big guy. Christian Watson.
I knew you were going
This week against the Bears. Don't look now, but this
You wanna
Packers
step
wide
out for a minute,
receiver.
Mike?
Yeah, I don't. I talked about this Wednesday, so
You're
no
good.
further comment.
Well, I'm going to comment on your comment. Honestly, we've seen some positive trends here for Christian Watson.
We have, yeah.
Always dangerous.
You got to be careful because we've said that about Packers wide receivers before. But since returning in week 8, here's what his targets have been: 4 targets, 4 targets, 4 targets, 5 targets, 7 targets, 10 targets. And in
high.
there, 10 targets. I don't know. Is it a career high?
It is.
Yes. It is? Wow. That's
Mike
insane
said that Wednesday.
to me. Okay. I was not paying attention on Wednesday.
Don't worry, neither was I.
I know.
Yeah. But we've seen some big games over the last month as well. Week 11, 4 for 46 and 2 touchdowns. Week 13, 4 for 80 and a touchdown. Over 18 fantasy points in both games. He is the air yards king of the NFL. We talked about that on Wednesday. I was listening to that part for sure.
Thank you.
And this is one of those situations where the matchup is just really sweet. I understand it's tough to be able to start a Packers wide receiver, but if you're saying to yourself, I need an upside play, I need some ceiling, I know I'm projected to lose. We take those projections with a grain of salt, but I know I'm projected to lose. I need a big play. Let me throw Christian Watson out there. Bears have allowed the 7th most fantasy points to wide receivers this year, and maybe more importantly, the most fantasy points to wide receivers over the last month of the season. It is an awesome matchup right now for Christian Watson. If there was one Packers wide receiver I was going to throw a dart on, it would be Christian Watson this week over anyone else. Doesn't mean I love doing it, but he's going to be inside my top 25 this week.
Yeah, the only slight hesitant, and everything's fair. I said it's very similar things on Wednesday. Bears getting healthier at corner is the only thing I'm watching for here. Jalen Johnson was limited last week, as was Kyler Gordon. Yep. They're their 2 best corners. So if they get healthy, and Tyreek Stevenson was out last week, so you have you look at your 3 top corners. Not that Stevenson's really moving the needle, but your top 3 corners, 1 was out, 2 were very limited, coming off injuries in which they barely played this season. But those are standout players. So I'm curious to see if the Bears really improve in the secondary moving forward.
Yeah, back-to-back DMPs for Stevenson so far this week. We'll see if he gives it a go this weekend. This is a question, sort of a statement as well. Which Cardinals can you confidently start against the Rams on Sunday?
Ooh.
Let's talk through this here. The Rams, of course, have allowed the 4th fewest fantasy points to opposing running backs, and the Rams have allowed the 7th fewest fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. This has been an excellent defense. Let's talk to some of the injuries here for the Cardinals. Trey Benson has now gone 4 straight days, dating back to last week.
What a mystery.
Yeah.
This is kind of frustrating. Give us some info on this. I'm kind of frustrated with
Good
that.
luck prying that from Jonathan Gannon, who has mum is always the word there from Arizona on the injury front. It seems like a long shot at best that Trey Benson plays this week. It might be a long shot at best that Trey Benson plays at all this season. If there were some sort of setback with that knee, the team has to be mindful of his future, especially in a lost year for this franchise at 3-9. It would probably be Bam Knight and then some order of Amari DeMarcado or Michael Carter. If DeMarcado is out, Carter will play that complementary role to Bam Knight. There have been a couple of really strong performances against the Rams recently on the ground. Chuba Hubbard was excellent last week, but a lot of Chuba's value comes as a receiver. I think it would have to be a running back getting dump-off city to take advantage of this Rams matchup.
Sure.
Generally speaking, my confidence level is low for these Cardinals running backs. For the wide receivers, though, it gets more interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Because, much like Trey Benson and Greg Dortch for that matter, back-to-back DMPs from Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yep.
Which means the last man standing.
And Dortch, too.
Yep.
He's becoming the heel of this offense.
That's what I was saying. Much like Trey Benson and Greg Dortch.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. Back-to-back DMPs for Marvin Harrison Jr., which means that it could be the Michael Wilson show on Sunday. As we noted recently, Michael Wilson has never seen a 20% target share, not even a 19% target share in a game in which Marv has also been active for the Cardinals.
Yep.
But in games in which Marvin Harrison Jr. has been inactive this year, Michael Wilson has commanded a 78% target share. That's an exaggeration, but not by much.
No, it's not.
He and Puka Nacua are the only 2 players with back-to-back games of 10-plus catches and 100-plus receiving yards. So even in a bad matchup, I believe that if Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, Michael Wilson should be in lineup this weekend.
Hold on, and I'll let you go, but we only have 2 instances this entire season of back-to-back games with 10 catches and 100 yards with
10
all the
is
super.
so hard to get to.
We have so many good superstar Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and Drake London and CeeDee Lamb and
Think about
Puka
how crestfallen
Nacua.
those guys have been by quarterback play.
That's
Yeah, but those guys still
unreal.
get to 10 catches. That's
Puka
such
got
a high
there.
watermark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Puka
only
and
two
Michael
of,
Wilson
yeah, you're
are
right.
the only two guys.
That's
And by the
crazy.
way, going back to the beginning of last season, it's 3 guys total. Jamar Chase, Puka, and Michael Wilson.
I wouldn't have realized it was that hard to get to 10 and 100 for back-to-back for some of these
The
studs.
100 number is not that hard.
This is the 10
number,
catches.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
10 catches might take Justin Jefferson the rest of the season.
Yes.
Don't,
Good point.
don't do that
point.
for us.
I mean, it's not his fault.
It's not.
Wilson, so his target share during those 2 games was very high. I mean, it was like 36% or something like that. I projected him this week at 25%, which is obviously much lower than that.
Is that
He's
with
still-
Marvin Harrison Jr. in the
This is
lineup?
with Harrison out. So
Okay.
Harrison is out of our projections. And Wilson still comes in at wide receiver 10 at 25%. So he might see more than that. I mean, he's a lineup block for sure with no Harrison.
And by the way, on Jacoby Brissett, I'll just say this. Like, if you want to keep trotting him out there, it's a tough matchup.
It is.
There's a pathway, though, for this game to be 35-10 at the beginning of the third quarter.
Dude.
And he's lived in that area
and
for
just
a while
junk
now.
time it up.
Wasn't that the Seahawks game? Weren't they down like 35-0 at halftime or something?
Nothing, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, we've watched Jacoby Brissett bortles his way to our top 12 for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, the numbers kind of matter a little bit less, in my opinion, as it pertains to the matchup for Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, so McBride, lineup block,
100%.
obviously. Wilson, I'd say, is a lineup block. Bam Knight's a flex option, maybe an RB2 if you're in a tough spot. I'd rather not use him, but you can. And then, like you said, Brissett, probably not starting him against the Rams. Again, very good
But if
defense.
options are thin, like I don't think
But
I don't think
borderline.
he's going to go for like 8 points on Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets you 16. What else you got, Mike?
Last one for me is I think you and I are trading topics from Wednesday because I think you mentioned Troy Franklin, or you maybe on the Pat
It was
Bryant
the
side. You
high upside player.
Yeah, I mean, I just we've been starting Franklin, or at least ranking him as a starter.
Been talking about it at least.
I'm having him at 42 prior to Thursday
All the way
Night
out.
Football. Yeah,
Okay.
they just after their bye, they made a clear depth chart change there with Pat Bryant playing a career high 70% of the snaps. He's now at 7 targets in back-to-back games. They're trying to utilize the rookie in the routes in that game. Sutton 39, Bryant 35, Franklin 30. Marvin Mims still involved a little bit at 18. I'm not gonna start Pat Bryant. He has yet to clear 13.2 fantasy points in a game. Could be a DFS option.
Yeah.
Over at DraftKings, it's $3,400 this week, so keep an eye on him. And look, Franklin has hit for the occasional big game this year, but he's been held below 13 fantasy points 9 times. So even when he was in that clear number 2, at times number 1 spot, he has not come through in fantasy. So I would avoid if possible. They are playing the Raiders though, so 4th most fantasy points for receivers. It is a good spot.
Nice to see an uptick in volume, 6 targets and then 7 targets each of the last 2 weeks.
Don't
for
do
him.
it.
So that's
Gotta
pretty nice.
stop.
Well done.
Let's dive into the practice report, my friends.
All right, let's do it.
Couple of guys here, and I'm going to ask you guys a bunch of questions along the way. Lamar
ready.
Jackson officially did not practice on Thursday, but we have already heard from Todd Monken he expects Lamar to play. I am expecting Lamar to play. I think we're all
all are.
ranking him. Okay,
Division's
so
on the line. Got to win these games.
just wanted to say it in case you looked at it. We are expecting Lamar to be out there. Jaden Daniels was a full participant in Thursday's practice. We love to be able to see that. Sounds like they still want to be able to figure out if he can go Friday. They're going to give it one more day. So,
We talked about this in the show yesterday.
yep.
And I think it's trending towards Jaden Daniels playing on
He's
Sunday.
back in the projections, so I'm planning to fire him up in our FF Now League this week.
Yeah. Good luck.
And I have him in some lineups, so we'll see.
Here we go.
If you have Jaden Daniels, is there, even though he's been banged up, is there a quarterback that if you were thinking about not playing him, that you would start over him this week? Or are you like, man, if Jaden Daniels is good to go, I don't think I could find
So-
another quarterback to start over him.
My option was the guy I picked
Jared
up on
Goff?
because I have Drake May, so he's on a
Oh,
bye.
okay.
So I
Drake-
picked up
Drake
Trevor
May,
Lawrence. Drake May. Drake May.
Drake May.
Drake May.
Drake May.
I picked up Trevor Lawrence, and I
T-Law.
was going to start him, but then Daniels was activated, so I plugged Daniels in and dropped Lawrence. So
Okay. Like that.
I think that's a fair line.
I have a Danny Dimes option. I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's fair. I'd say they're close, but fair.
Like it. Let's talk about the running back position. Last week, we kind of teased fantasy managers. We all sort of thought we were maybe going to see Omari and Hampton.
Yeah.
Didn't happen last week. Kind of trending in the same way this week as well. It feels like limited participant on Thursday. He was seen wearing the yellow non-contact injury jersey at practice this week. So if he rolls this week, still going to be a top 20 running back, but with limited expectations in his first game back. You
Maybe.
guys see
I
it
don't
similar?
have a good feel for this one, truthfully.
Don't have a good
I
feel
think
for
I
it?
would start him.
I would start him.
Yes.
I think I would just, it's like yes or no. It's like one of those. Would I plug him in? I think so. Unless I was stacked up.
My
You
feel,
meant.
I agree on the start. My feel is I don't know if he's going to go.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Where I would land. I don't know.
Okay. I thought it sounds like Jim Harbaugh's commentary suggests he's going.
You know, I take a lot of things that Jim
yeah.
says. Go
Big
ahead.
grain of salt with you.
I don't know. I would be surprised if he didn't based on that quote from Harbaugh.
Especially it felt like he was
expressed a
so
lot of
close last week. It seemed like he was close last week, then ended up not going, obviously. Something to monitor this week. In case you have Amari in Hampton, it's not a given that he is going to go this week. So make sure you have another plan just in case. But if he does roll, I am going to start him this week in my lineup as a top 20 running
after
back.
what the Eagles run defense did last game, 2 Bears running backs going off.
By the way, Eagles run defense, no Jordan
And, yeah,
Davis.
Jalen Carter.
Sorry, Jalen Carter this week, the other defensive tackle.
I'm an Eagles fan, and I do the same thing, too. Yeah,
They're just like two big defensive tackles that are young guys that are both
Two
really
awesome
good.
young defensive tackles.
Yeah. So
Eagles have a
that's-
super talented roster.
That would only help Amari and Hampton if he does play this week. All right, let's talk about some wide receivers. T. Higgins, I got a question here. He was a full participant at practice on Thursday, yet to clear the concussion protocol. I need to ask some questions because I don't understand how this works. How are you allowed to have a full practice if you have yet to clear the concussion protocol? Because having a full practice seems antithetical to the protocol that you're in.
There's just one final step. That you
That's
have
all
to
that it
clear.
is?
And it's a step that usually is cleared if you practice in full on Friday. You're almost always good by Sunday.
So you are allowed to fully practice even if you're in the concussion protocol?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Okay.
So I would expect him to play on Sunday. We have had a recent instance where a team was more conservative, and Jackson Dart, right?
Sure.
Missed multiple games because of his concussion, but I do think there's a real chance. I expect T. Higgins to play on Sunday. That's where I landed. Yep.
Especially with a full practice, you love to be able to see that. So I was just curious about the semantics of that because I hadn't seen a lot of full practices
I expect him to
while still in the protocol. All right, so we love that about T. Higgins. Drake London did not practice on Thursday with a knee injury. Mike has already taken him out of the projections.
Don't
It feels like
expect
we're
that one.
going
I was
with
hoping
another
this was
direction.
a week back, but it doesn't look like
And who knows? If he hasn't practiced at all, we'll talk about next week. But as Stefania noted, when this first went down, these PCLs are tricky, man. They say, week to week, day to day, but like we've seen guys 4 to 5, 6 weeks sometimes with these PCL injuries.
Is Drake London the worst injury that's happened for fantasy managers down the stretch here? Like, there's not
there
another
another
player
one that
that's
comes
like
to mind?
really
for me, Trey
impacting
Benson,
fantasy
I have
managers.
a million.
Well, they're different.
I would say Drake London has
Because
been
he
the
was, like,
most notable
Yeah, I think
late
that's fair.
season
A
injury.
top 5 wide receiver that we're like now leading into the playoffs. We're not sure what we have heading into the playoffs, which is
I would agree on that.
We're just really tough. Marvin Harrison Jr., we already talked about. You've also already pulled him from the projection, so we're not going to expect him to play this week, but we'll continue to monitor. Roma Dunze, back-to-back DNPs
keeping an eye on that.
as well.
The Bears have had some guys go DMP at DMP. Like there's a DJ Moore week where we're going DMP, returned on Friday, limited capacity, played on Sunday. I have zero idea on Roma Dunze.
So then
we'll
let's
see
talk
today.
about this. If Rome goes, 2 DMPs, if Rome goes, I'm assuming we're going to rank him the way that we have been. If Rome doesn't go, you're moving DJ Moore from
DFS play.
And late Luther Burden. Yeah.
That's the interesting DFS play is Luther
Yes,
Burden.
no doubt.
And then I think,
as is, I think.
yeah, I agree. DJ would probably creep into like wide receiver 22 to 28 territory.
Yeah, that's like McConkey, Metcalf, Sutton, McLaurin.
Yeah, that feels about right
where I
in
think
there.
he would land. So a better flex than wide receiver too, but probably should be a little bit busier. It's not like Rome's been commanding a ton of catches of late, as we've talked
Not
about.
recently, unfortunately. And that's going to be it. Last one was Chris Olave, but he was limited on Thursday. Love to see him back as at least limited in practice.
Kellen Moore said it's the same thing he was dealing with last week. And not only did he play last week, but unless I missed something in the snap counts, like he played a lot.
He played a lot.
4 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. He wasn't dominant until late in that game, but still, he did play.
All right, couple guys to be able to
we gotta
know
move. We gotta get
about.
through.
Yeah, let's dive into
I'm
the
gonna
shadow.
do a quick shadow report so we can get to starts of the week.
Starts of the
which everyone
week.
loves.
Yes.
Okay, ready to go?
Yes.
Do it.
All right, upgrades, guys. We'll do this in like 2 minutes, I guess. Jerry Jeudy against the Titans and the rest of the Browns wide receivers. I know they're risky.
Just can't quit them.
I talked about this. The Browns schedule, they're going to be on this report the rest of the season. All their games are light. Yeah, at least one receiver has scored 15 plus fantasy points in each of the Titans' last 5 games. So could Jeudy make it 6 in a row? Perhaps the Titans have been so bad. So we're upgrading the Browns. Again, this one's a tough one to swallow, but the Vikings receivers, we talked about it.
Gosh.
On Wednesday, Jefferson and Addison against Washington. 7 receivers have reached 20 points against Washington. 5 of them have come in their last 6 games. They've really struggled. So Jefferson and Addison, It might be down from where they normally are, but a little boost for them.
Yep.
And then we just talked about Chris Olave, but Devon Vele.
Go ahead. There you go.
Vele, there it is.
That's a tough one. It's only 4 letters.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes they're the trickiest ones in this language. 8 for 93 and a touchdown last week. He's just 3,700 at DraftKings, so he is a great play. We actually put out a DFS article on the site. We were all
did.
Were you involved? Did you do?
He was not.
I was not. No,
He was
You were not. But we were involved in that. Tyler Fulgham,
Pick six.
a bunch of other people, Matt Bowen. I wrote about
Devon Vele
in that one as well. He's a good play here against the Buccaneers.
Love that.
The
Nice.
upgrades for this week.
Okay.
Downgrades. Jamar Chase.
Hold on, really quickly. Is this like one of the weaker upgrade
Yes,
weeks
it
that
is.
you've written about?
Because the players are lower.
Yeah, kind
the,
of.
The players are kind of struggling, but there's just a few. Yeah,
Okay.
we're just going through a few.
All right.
Some downgrades. We'll start with Jamar Chase, the Christian Benford shadow. Benford, the last 3 receivers that he has shadowed, DK Metcalf, Nico Collins, Emeka Ibuka, have all been held to 9 or fewer fantasy points. So he's been better lately. So maybe the ceiling's a pinch lower for Jamar Chase, but nonetheless, we're starting him and a little boost for T. Higgins on the other side.
I spoke about this yesterday on the show, but like Sean McDermott is doing Sean McDermott things again in Buffalo this season. They're down to the number 1 passing defense in the entire NFL.
Yeah, McDermott just knows defense. The guy's unbelievable.
Especially the secondary. It's his forte.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They've gotten the most out of seemingly average talent his whole career. It's unreal. Next one is I had Marvin
Tough field
Harrison
and I feel
listed.
working with you.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Excuse me?
What?
Nothing.
you
Sorry.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't even hear
Yeah.
you. I didn't know you heard that.
I've had enough of it. No, I haven't. Michael Wilson with Harrison likely out, but if Harrison plays, same kind of thing. But Michael Wilson, if he goes, would draw shadow coverage from Emmanuel Forbes in this Rams defense that's been so good against the pass. Not super worried about it. There still should be so much volume as we talked about earlier for Wilson, so not super concerned. But Wilson, 5,400 at DraftKings, so he's appealing if Harrison is out. That's underpriced for where
Last 2 games without Marvin Harrison Jr., he had 15 targets and 18 targets.
Yeah, he will be well worth that cost. And then we have the Chiefs receivers against Houston. We talked about that matchup earlier.
Yes.
Only 5 receivers have reached 13 fantasy points against them. The only 2 to get to 18, Nakua and JSN. So it's going to be a tough assignment for the Chiefs receivers.
Wow.
Eagles against the Chargers. Very zone-heavy Chargers defense has been terrific against the perimeter and the slot this week. So we're downgrading those 2 receivers a little bit. And the last one, this one's not too much to do with this. It's the Raiders receivers against Denver. We could see Surtain shadow Trey Tucker, but you're probably already not using him, so it doesn't matter much. So avoid the Raiders receivers this week.
Would this ever be a situation where you've seen Brock Bowers get a shadow because he's like the clear number 1
when
pass
he's on
catcher?
the perimeter only, which is only going to be a handful. It might be 8 plays
Okay.
of the game.
So that may happen, but it's so minimal that it's not worth
You'll see
really.
that sometimes number 1s that shadow, they'll like Travis Kelce has drawn that in the past. Gronk would at times. You'll see that with Bowers once in a while, but again, it's only a handful of plays because those guys are usually in line or in the slot, and those guys don't come inside.
All right, that checks out. Thank you very much for that. Check out
Speed
the
round.
rest
Need a
of
drink.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, check out the rest of the wide receiver cornerback matchup as well as the rest of the playbook, which Mike writes. It's fantastic, available right now on ESPN.com. All right, let's dive into our starts of the week.
Yeah.
Field Minister Yates, you got to go first. And here's the thing. We actually got 2 punishments to pay off because
We do, yep.
last week was Thanksgiving week, which means we didn't get to pay off the punishment that you were supposed to have. And your punishment was?
Super sour starts of the week. So I have Final Boss Sour, which sounds terrible.
Yeah, we'll find out how that goes.
Question for you guys.
Yeah.
You want me to like just sort of park these in my mouth and while I do my starts? That would make the sour
you
last
to
a lot
make
longer.
nasty.
Whatever
right?
you think makes it the worst for you is what I want you to do.
Don't make
if I
chewing
just pop
sounds in
them
the
in and
microphone.
chew, then it's like the
Yeah.
sour goes away,
All right,
right?
so, yeah.
like,
Maybe
remember
do
when
that.
you did marshmallows?
Yes.
Starts of the week, you just stuffed them in there.
I like that. I like you just throwing them all in so that we can get things going there.
Okay.
I like
you guys
that.
can start yours. I'll
So
start
we'll
mine.
yeah. So
I
how
got
about
sour cranberries
first?
and sour strawberries?
Oh, Fields got it. Fields
Oh,
ready.
yeah, he's ready to go.
Oh God, these are like I thought these were going to be.
It's gonna be honestly. This Fields kind of like on dad duty right now because it's like
You
little.
just ate the whole bag of them?
It's like little cran raisins. Whatever. Was that what they're called? Craisins. That's what it is. It's like a sour craisin.
He's eating 2 full bags of these. Don't choke, please.
No, well, yeah. Don't choke. Don't choke, please. Mike and I don't really know CPR the way that we should.
You feeling the sour?
Oh,
That's great.
disgusting.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, they're disgusting.
I starts of the week are
Yeah, I love this field.
number 1, Lamar Jackson. It's so sour.
You went with Lamar Jackson?
He's outside the top 10.
Yeah, he is.
He's not even your wild card.
No.
Oh, my gosh.
That's how far he's fallen.
What are you guys doing?
Running back is Chris Rodriguez for the Commanders. Kind of starter now.
Okay.
Chris Rodriguez. Okay. Like that?
right.
All right. Someone's got to touch the ball there.
There's so much sugar.
Yeah, you got to move it around in your mouth a little bit to be able
A
to.
little bit. Sorry for the nastiness.
No, it's good. This is what we were here for.
My wide receiver is 80 Mitchell.
Oh, that's a baller.
Mitchell,
That guy's knows what to do.
And then I went with my wild card pick at tight end.
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid for all the reasons I
Yes.
discussed.
I thought
Notable.
about that. I didn't do that because I'm not sure on his health.
I need a ruling here. It's when you get the liquid.
Yeah.
If Kincaid is out, I have Juwan Johnson as my pivot play.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll allow that.
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
allow it.
I'm okay with that.
I'll allow it.
I think
How
that's
sour is that, Field?
Pretty nasty.
You want to go spit it out in the cup over there? Yeah, well, yeah, it's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, you did.
Hey,
You did your
congratulations, Field.
Don't eat all that. Sure, that's not good for you.
Honestly, but you opened up the little fruit containers really well. You can tell you're a dad,
Why
and that
did you
you've
eat so
opened
many?
100 of those so far, so that's not
No
too
one said
bad.
you had to eat 2 full bags of.
I love it. All right. Well, that was Field starts of the week. Super sour starts of the week.
He's passed out on the floor.
We're working on it right now.
Medics.
He's figuring some things out. All right. Next up, Michael Clay.
You want to go last?
Yes, I will go last.
Quarterback, shocker, Lamar Jackson.
Are you kidding me?
I had how could you not?
Guys,
Did you him too?
that's like cheating.
It feels
Not
like
by the
cheating,
rule.
but yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like who people? This goes back to the
People
question
like
I had
sour
about,
stuff?
about hot
Sour.
sauce.
A little.
No, but this
like a
is
hint.
unappealing.
No, that's too much.
I
That's
liked Warheads back in the day because
exactly.
it was like it was like a 3-minute thrill ride.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm okay with that. But yeah, I had to go Lamar against the Steelers.
Hands are I just
Yeah,
took,
they're real gross.
I just took some sort of spray bottle of cleaning stuff.
You sprayed
and
it
put
in
it on
your
my
mouth.
hands. Yeah, on my hands.
By the way, if you're so angry about Lamar, rank him higher.
Wow.
Ugh.
Wow.
Right, go ahead,
I like
rank-
it.
rank
Okay.
him.
All right. Fair. Fair.
My wild card will be a running back this week, and it's Daniel's boy, Chase Brown,
Yes.
up against the Buffalo Bills. So go Bengals, and obviously he's been red hot, and
Is your
that
wild card,
defense
you
has
say?
struggled. Wild card is Chase Brown. Yep. Wide receiver
It's
again.
like remnants on my hands.
Okay. I'm going to go with Chris Godwin because I have remnants of him being a good fantasy
Oh, like
and
it.
he's trending up as of late. So season high 78 yards last week. Snaps are up. So I'm going to go with Chris Godwin. And then my tight end, fellas, is Brenton Strange.
Nothing strange about that pick
Jacksonville,
right there.
13 plus fantasy points in both games since his return. Colts not very good against tight ends. So Lamar, Chase Brown, Chris Godwin, Brenton Strange.
Not bad, guys. Not bad, my friends.
All right.
So here's the deal. I ended up drawing ASMR for my starts of the week punishment, which means I have to do an ASMR revealing of my lineup. I don't know if any of you know what ASMR. Have you ever listened to ASMR before?
I have kids, so yeah.
I haven't
Okay.
listened to it, but I'm aware of it.
Okay, so a lot of little things. We're real quiet as we do all of this. So we've got We got an ASMR set up here for my starts of the week.
You definitely listen to ASMR stuff when at home.
Oh yeah, I will fall asleep to ASMR a lot of times as a thing because it gives you. I don't have to you're not paying attention to it. It's just like noises in the background that you slowly kind of
literally have
disappear.
all kinds
Yeah,
of-
I got a full setup.
Your
here.
setup is totally comprehensive.
Yes, so we're going to start here, and I just want to reiterate how disappointed I am in both of you. I understand that you're playing by within the rules, but I feel like the spirit of the game is different. So here we go. What do I start with? Hello, and welcome in to Secret Squirrels Week 14 ASMR starts of the week.
Why is it using 2 microphones? They both sound the same.
One's supposed to be panned left, one's supposed to be panned right. It's so you get it's in both sides of your ears.
Oh, okay.
At quarterback this week, I'm starting Lamar Jackson. Respect a bit. Be quiet. Shh. He's really good at football. And you're never going to get a chance to start him again unless you do it now. At my running back spot, I'm going to go with.
Can you hear that?
He's rubbing a football right now.
Yes, it's my running back. My wild card running back is named Bijan Robinson. This week against the Seahawks, he's outside the top 5.
Right.
I started with Lamar Jackson and Bijan Robinson.
Playing the Seahawks.
I'm so screwed. I'm so screwed.
When did that against the Seahawks?
At the wide receiver spot. I'm going to start this week
Why does he have that?
For secret squirrels, week 14 starts the week. Jordan Addison.
Ooh, risque.
Leading into the J.J. McCarthy commander situation.
What on earth is that?
That's a good matchup he has.
It's a frog. It's a frog that makes
But
ribbon
what is the practical
Why,
use
though?
of it?
Yes. Why do you have that?
It makes it's I don't know. Don't you guys have cool stuff in your house?
No.
Okay. Well,
Only practical stuff.
come over more often. So, at the tight end position,
Don't you guys have cool stuff?
last but not least, I am going to go with the best tight end that's available for this week. See how I'm really drawing it out? That's what ASMR really does. I forgot who it was. My tight end this week.
That's too loud.
Sorry, it's too loud. Sorry. Is Brenton. Strange. Taking on the Colts. What a great matchup. And that is my week 14 starts of the week from an ASMR edition, my friends.
That is really well done right there.
Congratulations.
Commitment. Well done. We have two of the same guys.
Yeah.
We do.
Bijan
Also,
versus Chase Brown. So you have to root against Chase Brown.
I have to
before
root against
Brown
Chase,
for your
yes.
teams,
Who
presumably.
was your wild card again?
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then receiver, I had Godwin. You had
Jordan Addison.
Okay,
I decided
all
to
right,
dance a little bit, knowing I took,
I hate my picks now.
Some of them feel like cheating this week. It's weird. It was
I know.
like a deep
Bijan and Lamar, starts the way waiting.
And there's-
Yeah, I know, right?
high too.
I know, yeah.
Hey, that's part of the game.
My
was
strategy was to use, so on weeks when you have a bye, I figured there's just generally speaking bad depth at tight end. So tap into your wild card this week.
Yeah.
But I just neglected to look at Bijan being a not top
At
5 running back.
6.
That felt like cheating. I was like, Lamar, I could justify because he's been so bad. I was like, I couldn't do it with Bijan. I did think about wild card Kyle Pitts because I moved him way up without London. His target shares when London have been out is massive.
Yeah. Well done, Daniel. You
Hey,
really
thanks,
committed to
guys.
this well.
I tried really hard. We got this question here from a guy named Eric and Moody in our chat.
I
I can imagine someone tuning into the show for the very first time and wondering what the heck is happening right now. Yeah, if you don't know ASMR, it might have been, you'll have to turn it up.
Now you know.
Hopefully we didn't blow out your ears once we were done with it, but it's a lot of fun being able to do this. Hey, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Mike's, thanks for showing up for work today.
Oh, you're welcome.
Field and I appreciate it.
I'm going on vacation again.
Well,
See you guys
do it
Sunday.
till Sunday?
Maybe.
It's going to be week 14 this entire
Big
weekend.
Big week, fellas.
We're going
We
to
gotta
come
get a
back.
win, get into the playoffs.
Regular
Let's
season
go.
is over, so that's
Not
going to
for
do it.
you.
All right, today's show was
your players.
presented by Wingstop. Shout out to our buddies over at Wingstop. And don't forget to love each other. Be kind to yourself. You guys deserve it. Come hang out with us on Fantasy Football Now, Sunday morning, for everything you need to know going into week 14. We will see you guys then.